Although a London Underground line with only 2 stations may seem pointless at first glance, the Waterloo and City Line is still noteworthy for its unusual nature and history. It turns out that the route had been available for Train Simulator Classic for at least 9 months before I found out about it in late July 2024, but in any case, I thought I'd have a look at one of my favourite tube lines for a video. A few scenes will be recorded on the old Isle of Wight route, due to the limited amount of different shots you can get on the W&C. This is a freeware add-on by Backdated TrainSim, but it does have 3 payware requirements, 1 from Dovetail and 2 from Just Trains, then 3 freeware requirements from Vulcan Productions, namely their Track Pack Expansion, and Third Rail Texture Patch. As for the payware requirements, these are Dovetail's extended Portsmouth Direct line, the one that goes past Woking and all the way to London Waterloo, along with Just Trains' Metropolitan line and Metline/S-Stock Enhancement Plus Pack. You can get the base Aldgate to Amersham, Uxbridge, Watford and Chesham route on Steam or from JT's website. The Enhancement Pack is only available from the latter, but it's compatible with the Steam version. The Waterloo and City Line, otherwise known as the Drain, is a short underground railway line in London, running for 2.37 kilometres, or 1.47 miles, from Waterloo to Bank. It opened in 1898, but didn't become part of what we now know as the London Underground network until 1994. For the longest time, the W&C was actually operated as a branch of the National Rail network, which explains why the train is supplied in Southern Railway, British Rail, and Network South East liveries. The TS Classic version comes with the unusual Class 487 electric multiple unit, despite the route itself being set in 2023. These units were in service from 1940 to 1993, and if you'd like to learn more about their history, I made a video about them back in November 2022. Somehow, that mini-documentary on the 487s has since exceeded 100,000 views. Thinking back to the Class 487 as she is in TS Classic, you get both the motor and trailer coaches as per reality. The motor coaches had a cab at both ends, and could run on their own or with another motor. Up to 3 trailer coaches could be marshalled in between 2 motor coaches, and indeed, the platforms at Waterloo and Bank can barely fit the full 5-car Class 487 set. The modelling on this unit is very good for a freeware product, although some of the textures look a bit fuzzy up close, especially in the cab. I should also mention that the tiny windows are not a mistake on the modeller's part. That's just how the 487s were designed in real life. Personally, I wouldn't want to ride aboard these things for too long because I'm a bit claustrophobic. As for how to drive the Class 487, it's pretty much the same as most other motive power in TS Classic. You press A to increase the throttle, D to decrease, W to move the reverser forwards, S for reverse, semicolon to release the brakes, and comma to apply. The cab light is controlled by pressing the L key, and in the case of the Class 487, you can also switch on the passenger lights by pressing K. Setting up this unit is fairly easy. First, you should switch the cab lights on, then press A to move the throttle into position. Next, move the reverser into forwards, switch on the marker lights, release the brakes, and you're away. As you're driving along, make sure not to depress the throttle, otherwise you'll trip the emergency brakes. In other words, this unit has a functioning dead man's handle. In my opinion, the sounds on this unit are pretty good, especially for a freeware product, but I can't verify their accuracy, and indeed, the sole surviving Class 487 coach hasn't run under her own power for over 30 years. In any case, here's a demonstration of the Class 487's whistle, as well as the sound of her pulling away from a station. The two stations are done up with plenty of realistic decals, including the old Network Southeast markings on the platform edges, and the proper signs pointing out connecting lines at each station. However, some of the posters are outdated for a route that's meant to be set in 2023. Incidentally, the drain platforms at Waterloo were used as a filming location in the 1998 film Sliding Doors. But they were used to portray embankment in the film, despite one of the Class 482 or 1992 tube stock units prominently appearing in a few shots. You would not see the 1992 stock at the real embankment station. Instead, you'll see the 1972 stock on the Bakerloo line, the 1995 stock on the Northern line, and the S7 stock on the Circle and District lines. Driving on the Waterloo and City Line is both simple and bizarre. I say simple because the line is so short and lacks any intermediate stations, and bizarre because the Class 487 doesn't have headlights, only two red marker lights. Indeed, I am reminded of the Split Enz song, I See Red. In any case, the line can still be a little challenging due to the steep gradients and frequent speed limit changes, not to mention the 487 being somewhat overpowered. The speed limits are in kilometers per hour, as is correct for the time period of 2023, but this train has a speedometer for miles per hour, something to bear in mind if you want to try driving without the heads-up display. Despite the severely limited replay value, and the Class 487 clashing with the modern time period, I still like Backdated TrainSim's rendition of the Waterloo and City Line, and can easily recommend it to other TS Classic players looking for something a bit out of the ordinary. I give this route a 7 out of 10.